So
the whole show.
I'm better looking with my eyebrows up or down?
Yeah, up, just up.
How about this, the Clint Eastwood
No,
look?
if you go higher with the eyebrows, it takes,
It reduces the acreage.
No, it makes people think that you have hair higher than it actually is. So,
Oh, really?
yeah. So there you go.
All right, I'm going to do the whole video like this. Hey, y'all.
What?
Dude, really?
That was horrible. I think that was like the worst dude really ever.
Probably.
Really?
Dude.
Really?
No, you got to be like dude.
Dude.
Really?
Really.
Really?
Hey everybody, we're just here chilling, and yeah, man, with like some stuff, and so
I guess we're gonna do.
Dude, like we got shit to say, man.
yeah,
dude,
this
like
stuff. Yeah, man, you got it. Dude.
Really.
Yeah.
We shouldn't have been doing that shit before the video started.
Yeah, totally, man.
Oh God, couldn't agree more, bro.
Last time on Dude Really, we talked about bullshit. And today on Dude Really, we're going to talk about more bullshit. But guess what? We are excited to talk about a prominent actor, at least for me when I was growing up. I thought that this actor...
Me too, when I was growing up.
Oh, all right. Well, when he was growing up too. So, 80 years ago. It was apparently he was in acting.
Eyebrows are going up.
But all right, so I personally I've seen a lot of his movies growing up.
I've seen at least a dozen of his movies.
At least a dozen of them, and one of the most prominent one, Jaws. Obviously, he's huge in that one. But there was also another, I guess, less known movie, Krippendorf's Tribe. Mr. Holland's Opus was a great movie. I thought
The Goodbye Girl. He's amazing in that.
And James and the Giant Peach, where our protege over here would know him from.
Exactly. I'm not much of an old movies person.
Old movies, everybody. Old movies. I just want you to hear that. What the movies that we're talking about are
Old
now
movies.
categorized as old movies.
And by the way, bro, when you're in 40 years, the young
Oh
people
no, I know it's coming right back at
it's
me.
coming,
I already know. I already
Can't
know.
wait.
It's coming
No,
back.
it's already
out.
coming
Can't
back
wait.
at me, dude. Like if I could talk to the youngsters now,
Talk to the
I feel
youngsters,
like-
everybody.
Talking to the young.
He talks to the youngsters, everybody.
I feel like I'm like 60 years
I love
old.
it. I love it.
FYI, he's 18 and a half.
Everybody, congratulations. He's aged so much.
Yeah. My daughter actually talks about that. She's like, oh my God, the movies that I watched when I was a kid are actually old now. They're classics.
Yeah.
12
they're
Dancing
considered
Princesses and
classics.
shit
I'm
like
just
that.
like, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah. Finding Nemo.
Different world. It
So-
truly is.
If you haven't caught on, the actor that we're talking about is Richard Dreyfuss, and one of his great movies with Bill Murray. What About Bob?
Oh, forgot about that too.
Yeah, he's a great actor. I've always thought that Richard Dreyfuss has had excessive range, but there is also something else about Richard Dreyfuss.
Oh, let's say one more thing about him. Now,
Okay.
it's my understanding that he votes Democrat, that he is a Democrat.
Oh yeah, I was actually leading right into that.
Oh, sorry.
No,
So this, what we're about to say, keep that context in mind.
heavily.
That this is not a conservative or libertarian. We're libertarians on steroids, basically. But he's not a conservative libertarian. He's saying this shit about Hollywood. So that makes it, I think, even more impressive
Yeah.
about the whole PC culture. So he got interviewed it was on Firing Line a week ago, and by Margaret Hoover on Firing Line. And so he started talking about the music industry right now and their guidelines, their PC guidelines. And so he said, quote unquote, they make him vomit.
What do you think of these new inclusion standards for films?
They make me vomit.
And that's pretty amazing.
Yeah, wow.
Because they make
That's
us vomit.
Strong. That's some strong
They're
wording
pretty
right
damn
there.
strong.
Yeah.
I agree.
That's one reason why I just don't watch new movies anymore.
No, absolutely.
Because they're all PC. So anyway, so he had a bunch of other things to say that were pretty good. He got asked by Miss Hoover why he would say that, and he said, because this is an art form.
Why?
Because this is an art form. It's an art. And no one should be telling me as an artist that I have to give in to the latest, most current idea of what morality is.
Which I think is really important. You can't put restrictions, especially false restrictions, on art.
Yes.
It just is what it is. What if somebody come around to Picasso and said, I'm sorry, but you have to do realistic paintings?
Yeah, or even to Da Vinci and said, you know what, we'd rather you just do fruit.
Yeah. Or to Van Gogh and say, could you stop with the blurriness a little bit? Or Monet or whatever. Or go to rappers and say, sorry, but there's not enough instruments. You can't do rap.
Yeah, you can't make it.
Your cadence is just a little bit too slow. We need you to hype it up and maybe add a couple of choirs in the background that drown out your noise. It turns into something completely different. It's no longer what the artist was trying to convey. Whatever they are, You know what? I could hate the art that's being created, but guess what? It's still art.
Well, I hate most art that's created, but I'm not going to sit there and say that I've got the standards that they've got to live by.
Right.
When they do art.
Yeah, that's your art. That's your expression.
And even delegitimizing it by saying it's not art if it doesn't meet these quotas. It's like, it's ridiculous.
I find it ironic that the Hollywood actors and the Guild haven't said this before Richard Dreyfuss. I mean, they claim to be so independent and, don't tell me what to do. And yet the industry for the last 10 years has been telling them what to do and telling them what kind of art to spit out. And it's been almost completely bad because of this. You got to have a certain amount of one race in there. You got to have superheroes that are women, whether or not they want to do it or whether or not anybody wants to buy that shit, and that those women actually have to act like men in the superhero roles instead of acting like women. I mean, there's so much PC shit that's going on.
Which is hilarious in its own right, because you're stripping away the femininity, the thing that actually makes a woman in the first place. But then you're saying that it's representation of women. But it's not. It's a representation of this false thing that you wanted to create and push it onto somebody. But it's not the representation at all. The only thing is the image. The image is a female image, that's it. But ultimately, it's a male character.
Yeah. So Richard goes on to say, it's an art form, and no one should be telling me as an artist that I have to give in to the latest, most current idea of what morality is. Fantastic, man. That's fantastic.
Wow, this doesn't sound like he's going to be a Democrat for much longer, dude.
Yeah, and then he goes on to say, I don't think that there is a minority or a majority in this country that has to be catered to like that. And that's what the whole PC thing is. It's a catering to the leftist ideals. And maybe that's one reason why a lot of the Hollywoodites don't complain. Is because basically they agree with it.
Yeah,
they're like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
But, well, ultimately, it always goes to the same thing. Somebody's not left enough, and eventually they eat their own. I mean, that's the way it goes. It's a nasty spiral of eating their own until you finally get to the bottom.
And there's a horrible irony in this that unfortunately women and people of minority races have to endure whenever you have a privileged class, like affirmative action makes minorities a privileged class, so that when a lot of minorities get jobs, the people working there are like, oh, did they get their job because of affirmative action? Or did they get their job because of merit, because they actually deserve to get this job? So there's a constant cloud of, did they really deserve it? And so now Hollywood is having to go through this with these phony guidelines that they've got. Now you look at a female superhero or somebody of a minority race in a movie and you're like,
well, did they get the part because they were the best actor or actress?
Exactly.
Or did they get the part because they fit a specific category?
And I think that now, when I'm watching this stuff, I'm like, did they get it because of that? And then if I watch it and they do a good job, well, I'm like, well, they got merit, but did they still get the role over somebody who was better because they're of a minority status?
Like perfect example would be like James Earl Jones, who I think is a phenomenal actor. And also he has an iconic voice. So I've never one time when I was growing up ever was wondering if James Earl Jones had the position just simply because he was black. That didn't pop into my mind. But now in movies, that could possibly be it. Or somebody else who could have been more fit for the role for whatever reason didn't get it because they didn't fit that specific category. And that never crossed my mind when I was a child, and it definitely comes up now.
Definitely, it has to.
As a matter of fact, it's forefront. Even on top of that, it's celebrated. It's he got this role because he's black. It's well, he got the role not because of his acting abilities, not because of his iconic voice or anything like that, just simply because of the one thing that he cannot control, the color of their skin.
Yeah.
you're blowing my mind.
Yeah. So Dreyfuss doesn't stop there. He keeps going. So he gives the interviewer an example of what would happen if you go back in film history and use these same standards. Well, a lot of the great actors couldn't play certain roles, and one of the ones he brings up is Laurence Olivier, who's one of the greatest actors in not just British Shakespearean drama in England, in Britain, but also in movies. And in 1965, Laurence Olivier played Othello, the black character in that drama, obviously. He played him, a white actor playing Othello. Well, in modern standards, he's not allowed to do that. You can't put on blackface and play a black character, although I would imagine some black people can put on whiteface and play a white character, because there's a double standard with this whole thing.
Yeah, I mean,
that's been going on.
The weigh-ins with white girls. Yeah, they were dressed completely as not only female, but also white.
Oh, wow, I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah, I mean it doesn't take away from the movie, but it's funny.
Not.
It's a funny satirical movie.
That sounds
I'm
funny.
not upset about it.
So Dreyfuss says, am I being told that I will never have a chance to play a black man? And I think that's a good question. You know? Well, I mean, why can't you play another race? Why can't you even play another gender like Robin Williams does in Miss Doubtfire?
Or as Gwyneth Paltrow did in Shakespeare in Love.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Or Julie Andrews in Victoria.
Victoria. Fucking beautiful movie.
Oh, man, that's a
great movie. But the point being is actors. Actors are...
There's no limit.
By the way, not taking away any kind of how the industry... By the way, the industry is what forced like black actors not to be cast and things like that. Not taking away from that history or anything, but acting. You should be able to, as producing your craft, an artist, be able to, if you're an actor, be able to play these roles without being omitted from them based on specific characteristics.
False guidelines.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this interviewer goes on, tries to get back in his face a little bit, of course, because almost all interviewers are leftists, and says, if there's a difference between the question of representation and who is allowed to represent other groups, and the case of blackface, given the history of slavery and the sensitives around black racism, I'm not really sure what the question is there, but Dreyfuss says there shouldn't be.
Because it's patronizing. Because it says that we're so fragile that we can't have our feelings hurt.
And man, that's it right there.
Wow, dude. That is fucking crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, and I just want to say that it takes a lot of courage to say what he's saying right now. And it honestly, and I do believe he is a liberal, and so we disagree with him probably on almost every other topic.
Yeah,
really.
Probably, yeah.
But hopefully he's leading the way and letting others know that this is just wrong. No part of our lives should be restricted by phony guidelines, and especially art. You know, you can't have an outside PC source come in and say, oh, we can't do this or we must do this. You ruin art when you do that.
You truly do. Once the censors take hold of art, it no longer becomes art. It is now just simply a script.
Yeah. So I'm a big fan of what Jamie Foxx isn't. Jamie Foxx is that's his name, right? He's the.
Yeah, well, he is an actor. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, he was in the Tarantino movie.
The Django?
Yeah, Django. That was Jamie Foxx, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was Jamie
Yeah,
Foxx.
I don't know. His first name for some reason didn't click right. So anyway, yeah. So Jamie Foxx. Jamie Foxx is one of my favorite actors.
Oh yeah, fucking love him.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, dude's just off the chains. He and Tom Cruise in that one. Well, it's just insane what the guys. I mean, he's also a good singer, so I hate him. He can do that.
Jamie Foxx. By the way, Jamie Foxx, stop being so damn talented,
Yeah,
please.
you bastard.
Oh my God.
So I mean, under these standards? I mean, if they really do across the board, Jamie Foxx cannot play a white person
Which is ridiculous.
or a female. You know, he can't play outside of type.
And obviously, he has the range to be able to do so.
Yeah.
Just like Denzel Washington. You know, also massive range. Christoph Schultz, also from Django.
Yep.
You know, they have the range to be able to do these things.
Yeah.
Well, I would pay to see these people in these roles, you know, because I believe that these actors have the ability to make me believe that the person that I'm watching is who they are presenting.
Yeah. So, I mean, hats off, kudos.
Hats off, of course. You know, that says something to you and your craft, and we salute that.
Yeah. And even though the interviewer is trying to get back in his face a little bit here because they're all leftists, as I said, but he still stands his ground and takes it even further about hurt feelings.
Yeah.
Which I think is a great line. So and that is what it's about. We just did an episode on a comedian making fun of a bunch of cow women who were heckling her about her making fun of a transgender. Mulvaney, the Bud Light guy, and that whole, their feelings are hurt because they believe in that kind of mystical bullshit, and so they heckle.
Yeah, whatever it is, nobody gives a fuck.
No,
like nobody cares, or at least I don't, and I consider myself nobody.
You're not a nobody. You're a somebody.
I'm a somebody to somebody.
Etos, isn't he a somebody?
Yes. Yes.
No.
He's a somebody.
Yes.
Take it down.
Yes, he is.
Yes, he is somebody.
But so we might like Dax was saying, we don't agree with. We're almost guaranteed not to agree with Richard Dreyfuss in a lot of what he thinks about healthcare. Fucking all of you run down the gamut. Yeah, we probably don't.
What
agree.
government should do and should not do.
All of this stuff.
Yeah.
But we're honest here always, and so we will speak our minds. I mean, that's one of the reasons you come here.
And we'll give credit where credit's due.
Mm-hmm.
And as of right now, Richard Dreyfuss, he's right.
Bam.
Spot on with the fucking
dude.
art, dude. Hell yeah.
Yep.
And by the way, that's not just because we agree with him. It's because we think he's abiding by reality.
Yes.
If you put false guidelines on art, you're going to get bad art.
Yes.
Bad art, like trash.
Yeah. So it's not because we're libertarians and we think everything should be free. That's not just, there is an objective reason for that. But the fact is, he's stating the truth.
Yes. And we salute you.
And we do. Catch y'all next time.